larger paper, so I'm not scrunching it. And I would highly recommend you to do your work on lined paper or a notebook. We don't leave enough room intentionally for you to do your work here. Otherwise, the books would be so big we could never hole punch them. They'd be this fat, right? Okay, so I have $90,000, 90,000 insurance. I think this is a large of insurance coverage is needed. I think this is a large number, isn't it? And it's comprehensive 500. Okay, so I go to my tenant's insurance chart. At least the chart is 500, so I don't have to worry about adding on the extra 200. And I go to my chart and it only goes to 75, which has made it more challenging, right, James? Okay, so for $75,000, the cost is, is 454. Agreed? Yeah? Okay, how much extra do I need? For the extra amount, well, that's the leftover, right? So the extra amount will be 90,000. Take away the 75. I've already paid for the 75, or I've got the 75 accounted for. So that's going to give me 15,000 extra. Okay. So 15,000 is the extra amount. Okay, so the cost is, it tells me how to calculate. For each additional 1,000, that means it's a divide by 1,000 question, you're charged $550. So I take my 15,000 and I divide by 1,000 to see how many 15,000 units I have in there, right? And then I'm going to times by 550. Very similar to our mortgage payment.
So if it says anything over 75,
you find the extra, yeah. And you have to multiply that amount by either the 450 if it was standard insurance. I'm multiplying by 550 because it was comprehensive. Okay, so I get $82.50. Okay? All right, so now I just have to total these up. The total cost is 454 plus 8250 is 536.50. Okay? Now, am I done? What do I have to do for all insurance cost questions now? Yeah. Now, add on the PST. And in Manitoba, PST is 7%. Okay, so this is really easy. I just take my 536.50 and multiply by, and I'm going to explain this one more time. If I just multiply by 0.07, I'll get my amount of tax, and then I have to add it back on. If I add the 1 here, it does the adding on for me, so I get to be my final answer right away. So I get 574 point, and I have to round properly, it would be 0.06. This is the after-tax cost. After-tax final cost of insurance.
1.07?
Yes.
Why 1.07?
Okay. I'll explain it again. That's okay. I'll explain it again. I'll let everyone write that down. Okay, got it? Okay, why is it 1.07? Well, let's say I start with 536.50, Tim, okay? And let's say you're just going to multiply it by 0.07, agreed? Because this is the amount of the tax. Agreed? Because 7% is 0.07, right? You're okay with that? Okay, so what does that equal? 536.50 times 0.07. What would that be? $37 and, whoops, 56 cents? Yeah? Is the amount of the PST tax. Okay. Okay, PST is 7%, right? Which is the decimal number 0.07. So I'm just finding 7% of 536.50, okay? So the total after-tax cost is, okay, so let me figure out my after-tax cost. I take the cost of my insurance, right? This is the insurance cost of insurance. And I have to add my tax to it, right? That was the $37.56. This is the PST tax. Okay, so what do we get when we add those two up? 536.50 plus 37.56, 57406. It's the same answer, okay? Adding that 1 in there, does this adding on for you already? That's the quick way to get the answer. So anytime you're trying to find after tax, you can multiply by 1.07 if it's just PST, or 1.12, right? A lot of the grade 11 teachers would show you that in grade 11 too, which is what I did. So that's why I'm just jumping to that in grade 12. Think about it. If I just multiplied by the 0.07, right, I would just get this, the 37, right? Let's say I just found, if I just multiply by 0.07, I get the 37.56, right? What do you get when you multiply 536.50 times 1? What would 536.50 times 1 equal? 536.50. So that 1 adds this part on for you, right? Just does it quicker. Anyway, so sorry, James, does that answer your question for number 6?
Yeah.
Okay. So this stuff here in booklet 1 is very dense. There's lots to know, but you have your study sheet to make up and bring, and it's very formulaic, right? You just have to pick the right formula and do the correct processing. It's not super challenging, and there's not a lot of creativity that's needed, right? It's almost like rote learning a lot for the home finance, which is not the best way, I guess the best type of math to study. But just remember, it's just a lot of applying the formulas, and we can't do anything about the formulas or the taxes. That's what they are. We just have to use the taxes given to us and use the charts and use the numbers, right? We're not in charge of making the interest rates, right, in the world, or making the tax rate. That's out of our hands to some respect. So we just have to use the formulas and follow the rules. All right, I'm going to finish the last 2 examples, and these are the first time we've been exposed to the house questions, okay? So this will be a little different, but a lot the same. So I'm on page 24, and we've got example 6. Kwame owns a house in Metro Winnipeg and requires $175,000 worth of insurance. He chooses a comprehensive insurance policy with a $200 deductible. Okay, so those are all really important points, right? We've got comprehensive, $200 deductible, and we're given the amount of the insurance as well, right? And Metro Winnipeg, right? We need to know that. That's another important point, right? So I'm going to kind of, this is important, the Metro Winnipeg, the 175, the comprehensive, and the 200 deductible. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my chart, and it's the one on the flip side of the tenants. So it's Metro Winnipeg 175. So I'm going to look at the chart. Metro Winnipeg is the first set of columns, and it was comprehensive, right? And it was 175. So what did you various? 175. I think I got 668, yeah. Sometimes these charts are hard, right? So you can use a ruler. So I would line up the ruler, 175, yeah. So standard is 607, so comp is 668. So that's my base amount, 668, and I have to add 10% on for the 200 deductible. Okay. So the base amount, the insurance cost, is $668, but add 10% for the 200 deductible. Now, this is just like adding a tax on, right? Like we have to add that 7% on as well. So, 668 times, okay, so I could just times it by 10%, agreed, to find the extra amount and then add it on, agreed. But I'm going to do it the quick way, and I'm going to add the 1 here. So that'll give me my subtotal right away. So 668 times 1.10 gives me 734.80. Okay, this is the cost of $200 deductible insurance. And the very last step to all insurance questions in Manitoba is add the PST of 7%. So I take my 734.80 times 1.07, and I get, let's see if I can turn this light on, 786.24 if I round properly. So this is the total after-tax cost of insurance. Same steps over and over, right? You have an extra step if you want 200 deductible, you have to add the 10% on, and then you always end up with adding 7% at the end. Questions? That's it. That's not so bad, right? When you start to do a few of them, you say, oh, this is so much repetition. And it is, right? Because it's the same steps over and over. The things that change are the amounts of insurance you buy and if you want the 500 or 200. Okay, let's do the last example and then you get time to work. And that's great because then Jane and I can walk around, or you can hook up with your friends and do the working together in groups. That's a great way to learn, right? In groups, you have to do your tests alone, but if you help each other out and talking helps to learn as well. Let's try example 7. Jill has just applied for a mortgage to purchase a house located in Pine Falls, Area 3. You'll always be told the area, right? You never have to guess that. Area 3. The bank approves the mortgage but requires her to buy house insurance. She requires $310, that looks like a really big number, standard, 500 deductible. Okay, so I'm looking for area 3, standard, 500 deductible is nice, right? Because I don't have to add that extra step in. All I have to do is add the tax at the end. So let's look for area 3, 310,000. Oh, and it was standard, right? Okay. Area 3 standard, this is the column I'm in, right here. 310, what's the problem? It only goes up to 200, but that's okay, we know how to adjust, right? Okay, so we have to take this amount, this is our starting amount, 726, and then it says right underneath it will give you the extra chart, the 3.55 for every additional $1,000. Okay, so 726 is my start number, and it's going to be 355. Okay, so I'm going to flip over. 726 is my base plus 355 is my extra multiplier, right? Okay, so this is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to write my numbers down. This is my base amount, the starting amount, plus, okay, remember how to use this number? How do I use this number? It's a divide by 1,000 formula, right? And what amount has to go here? This is the extra amount of insurance, right? Yeah. So what was the, okay, so the extra amount of insurance is going to be how much extra 310 is. And what do I subtract out, Darius? The very last number on the chart was, it only went up to 200,000, right? So right now he's insured up to 200,000. So I just have to figure out the extra amount. So 110 is the extra amount needed. Okay? So 110, it goes here. Okay. This number goes here. So it's 110 divided by 1,000, 110,000 divided by 1,000. 3.55. Okay, so I get the, this is the base amount, base cost, and this is the extra cost. Okay, so far, what do we have right now? Cost of insurance equals 726 plus 390.50 and I get 1116.50. And now I add my PST, just like always. $1,194.66 is the total after tax cost of the insurance. Okay. So you've got lots of examples to look at, and you could even use these examples to create your study sheet, right? For this insurance part, you could just use an example on your study sheet if you had enough room. And that could be your guide to do a question like this on the test. All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign the rest of the assignment 4, so complete numbers 7 to 10. You can also, I'm going to put this in, also do If you look at the unit review at the back, because we're breaking this home unit up into kind of two parts. So if you look at lesson 9 on page 44, you can do up to, for extra practice if you want, you can do 1 through 5. Page 44, 1 through 5. Okay, now you also have tomorrow to do it as well, right? So if you don't get everything completed, you've got a little time tomorrow. Okay, so I'll leave that assignment up. See if I can make this a bit bigger so you can get everything in.
Which on the interview, 1 to 4?
Yeah. Finish assignment 4. So do this first. Do 7 through 10. And then also you can do 1 to 5 on page 44.